Hi, Carmen Bunde with Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices, Ambassador Real Estate, and Memorial Day is approaching, and it's a time when we're thinking about veterans particularly, although veterans are trying to buy homes all year round. So I'm here with Katie Leifers of Veterans United, and we want to talk about some of the myths that sellers have about accepting VA loans, because we really do want to help veterans get the home of their dreams this year. So let's start off, Katie, with what are the costs? Some people feel like, oh, there's a big cost to sellers if they accept a VA loan. What's the truth?
Great question. So it's really not that big of a difference. The sellers have to pay the pest inspection, typically about $85, and then broker's fees if there is any.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, that's all? Okay, so we're talking a difference of maybe a few $100s. So not anything major. Awesome. Okay, number 2, common red flags.
So this one, it really depends on what the appraiser calls out. Every appraiser is different, but the few are peeling paint that we see most common. If there's missing railings or a carbon monoxide detector, but it is rare. But those are probably the most common ones that we do see.
Okay.
And then also the gist of the VA, they want the house to be safe, sound, and sanitary for their VA buyers. So if you have a listing that is safe, sound, and sanitary, then it most likely will pass the appraisal.
Awesome. Okay, that's terrific. So most people can see with their own eyes prior to appraisal what might get called out. So it's not necessarily a surprise.
Typically, yes. Absolutely.
Pretty rarely that it's a surprise.
Right.
Okay, so, and those are things that most agents can go around a house. I know I tell my clients, I don't think there's going to be any issues with this one. This might be a tripping hazard or, but even then, sometimes they don't call it out. It varies on how much of a tripping hazard.
That is true,
yeah, but so usually an agent will be able to guide you whether they feel like this is a pretty solid opportunity for a VA loan. Although there are some agents who are a little bit skittish too. So just be mindful that that VA loans are not as scary as what some people have sort of over the years and historically built up to be. They're a lot cleaner and simpler and effective than they used to be as far as the seller side. So don't be afraid of VA loans. So safe, sanitary, and sound. So that's structural.
Yeah.
Sound is structural. So as long as you don't have a crumbling basement, you're fine.
Yeah.
So then let's talk about the money, right? So we're talking about the offer. There's 2 parts, the offer and the closing, getting to the final deed signed, everything closes, money transfers. So on the offer portion, what are some things that the VA buyer is allowed to cover or offer?
Great question. So the VA buyer, they can pay for the appraisal gap if there is one. They can pay for closing costs, and I think that would alleviate a lot of fears from the sellers because those are the big ticket items.
Right.
But,
So as long as they have funds to work with, like any other buyer, they can offer to negotiate and help pay for some seller closing costs or the appraisal gap.
Yeah.
Or both, or whatever they have the funds and want to offer.
Yes.
Okay, great. So now the final portion, closing. Anybody can sell a house, but you got to close.
Yes.
So that the keys transfer and somebody gets in a new home, and in this case, a veteran getting in a new home. So tell us about closing. What are the last 2 things that we need to know that is specific to veterans loans?
Sure. So one thing I do want to mention, make the offer, everything's good. If the appraisal, it's rare, if the appraisal came back where there was repairs that were needed, those VA buyers can negotiate and pay for those repairs. Just again, like any other transaction. So that is one point I wanted to mention.
So they can help pay for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I had one where they were very savvy. Their agent was very savvy, and they went around the house and they anticipated 2 issues that they thought might come up. And this guy is a contractor, and he said, if the spindles come up on the railing, I can fix that. If they call out the cement, he goes, I can grind that down. And they put that in the offer. So they wouldn't have to pay for anything, but they could make that repair to get it to close. So being creative and anticipating some of those things can also help, just like any other offer, but especially for the VA.
And then that makes the seller and the listing agent feel more comfortable, and
Right.
it's not as scary as it seems.
So what is the ratio of closings for VA? Some people feel like, oh, they just aren't going to close.
Right. So it is rare if the VA appraisal comes back low or needing repairs, but 99% of our VA loans do close with the appraisal. Only 1% falls through with an appraisal, just like any
Which is
other
probably
loan.
just like any
Right.
other loan. Things
Right.
fall apart for different reasons. So 99%
Yes, 99%
of VA loans
close
close.
after the VA appraisal. Yes.
So don't be afraid to accept a VA loan so that you can help a veteran get into a home. So thank you for enlightening us, Katie. This is super helpful. And if you have any questions about VA loans and other types of loans, call Katie Leifers at Veterans United.